I am Amish, and what I am about to tell you breaks the silence we have kept for generations. But there are things that hurt more than breaking a promise, and one of them is seeing a dog suffer from something the earth had already given us to prevent it. That buzzing you hear at sunset is not just a simple noise, it is the flapping of a miniature killer. A single female mosquito can carry up to 200 larvae of Dirofilaria immitis, the heartworm. When it bites you, it is annoying. When it bites your dog, it could be injecting the sentence of a slow and painful death. Those larvae travel through the bloodstream until they lodge in the pulmonary arteries and the heart. In 6 months, they become 30-centimeter worms that obstruct blood flow. Your dog's heart enlarges, it coughs, grows fatigued, and finally fades away. By the time you start seeing the symptoms, it is already too late. While you run to the store to buy a spray full of unpronounceable words, I ask you, why on our farms, where there is no electricity or laboratories, do our herding dogs live 15 or 17 years without a single mosquito-borne disease? Why do our puppies run through the brush at sunset and never have a single bite on their snout? The answer lies in a dark glass jar that my grandmother received from her grandmother and that rests in my pantry today. A recipe that has survived wars, droughts, and storms. And today, for the first time in 100 years, I am going to release it to the world. But I am not going to give you the complete formula right from the start. Because if I give it to you all at once, you are going to make the most stupid mistake I have seen in this life, and you will end up saying, it doesn't work. Before we get to the herbs, I need you to understand an uncomfortable truth. Everything they sell you in stores to protect your dog is designed to poison them slowly. DEET, the star ingredient in human repellents, dissolves plastic. Have you noticed that DEET bottles always come in special packaging? That is because it melts polyester and nylon. Now imagine what it does to your dog's skin, which is much thinner and more sensitive than yours. DEET is absorbed into the bloodstream within minutes. In dogs, an overdose causes vomiting, lack of coordination, hypersalivation, muscle tremors, and in severe cases, seizures that end in death. No dog needs to lick it for that to happen. Dermal absorption is enough. And then there are synthetic pyrethroids, the ones sold as specific for dogs. Permethrin, cypermethrin, deltamethrin. They sound like advanced science, but they are neurotoxins designed to attack the nervous system of insects. The problem is that a dog's nervous system is not that different. The sodium channels these chemicals attack exist in all animals. The unique reason they don't kill your dog instantly is the dosage. But that dosage accumulates in their liver and kidneys, month after month, year after year. I have seen 5-year-old dogs with liver failure. Veterinarians tell you it is genetic. But the genetic one was my grandfather's dog, who lived 19 years without a single pill. I don't blame you. You have been taught that this is the only thing that works. They have drilled into your head that natural is weak, that homemade is a fairy tale, that you need a laboratory's approval. Pharmaceutical companies don't sell health, they sell solutions that create dependency. If their product killed all mosquitoes at once, you wouldn't buy again. That is why they choose ingredients that repel, but do not solve. That is why you need to buy every month, every summer, all through your dog's life. We think differently. We do not fight nature with poison. We trick it. Mosquitoes do not bite out of malice. They bite because they need blood to develop their eggs. But how do they find you? It's not by sight, which is quite poor. They locate you by 2 things, the carbon dioxide you exhale, and the cocktail of lactic acid, ammonia, and other bacteria that live on your skin. Every person and every dog has a distinct chemical footprint. Dogs, with their fur and higher body temperature, are beacons for mosquitoes. They love the dog smell. If you alter that olfactory signature with a scent the mosquito associates with danger, the insect will ignore you completely. It doesn't bite you, it doesn't come near, it doesn't recognize you as a target. We, the Amish, have perfected that olfactory alteration for 4 generations, not with synthetic molecules, but with the wisdom of the plants growing around us. If this recipe is so powerful and so cheap, why don't they sell it in pharmacies? Why do veterinarians prescribe monthly pills that cost a fortune and come with a leaflet full of possible adverse effects? The answer is simple: money. A monthly pill for a medium-sized dog costs between $20 and $30. 12 pills a year is $360. Multiply that by the millions of dogs in your country. Now think about the glass jar you are about to make. The dried herbs, if you buy them at a herbalist, cost you less than $3 for a bag that lasts all summer. If you grow them in your garden, they cost you $0. Do you think a multinational corporation is going to give up $360 per dog a year to sell you a jar of herb water they can't patent? No. They prefer to bury this knowledge. They prefer to pay for studies to say there is not enough evidence. I'm going to tell you my great-grandfather's complete recipe. He did it out of pure instinct. But today, thanks to the botany and science books I've been able to read, I perfectly understand the reason behind each chemical compound. The recipe is divided into 2 parts. The first part is the 6 base herbs. They are the shield. They are easy to get and they are safe. The second part is the 7th herb. That is the spear, the ingredient the pharmaceutical companies have tried to erase from collective memory. That 7th herb is what makes this recipe 10 times more powerful than any chemical spray. But I am not going to give it to you just yet. Because if I give it to you now, you won't understand how to prepare the base correctly. Let's start with the first 6. You need dried herbs, but not just any dried herb. My grandmother always said that herbs must be dried in the July sun, never in ovens or electric dehydrators. The sun keeps the essential oils intact. Artificial heat burns them, volatilizes them, and they lose their power. If you don't have dried herbs from your own garden, buy from a trusted herbalist. Look for them to have a vibrant color and an intense smell. If they smell like dust or hay, they are useless. You need 3 tablespoons of a balanced mix of these 6 plants. The first is citronella. It contains citronellol and geraniol. These compounds block the olfactory receptors of mosquitoes. It's as if you plug their nose. But citronella alone evaporates quickly. That is why you need the rest. The second is lavender. It contains linalool and linaloyl acetate. They are soothing for your dog's skin, and they are also toxic to mosquito larvae. The smell is so unpleasant to them that they prefer to leave. And it has an extra benefit. It reduces your dog's stress. I have seen restless dogs smell lavender, lie down, and relax. The third is peppermint. It contains menthol. It produces a fresh sensation that we like, but the mosquito interprets as a danger signal. Menthol interferes with the mosquito's nervous system at the ion channel level. Additionally, peppermint is a potent antibacterial, and by slightly reducing the skin's bacterial population, you make your dog less attractive. The fourth is rosemary. It contains cineol and rosmarinic acid. It is an extraordinary and completely safe repellent for the fur. Its compounds not only stun the insect's thermal sensors, but they also strengthen your pet's dermal barrier. The mosquito approaches, detects the rosemary, its brain gets confused, and it prefers to look for another target far away. The fifth is spearmint. It contains carvone. It is a less known but very effective repellent against mosquitoes of the Aedes genus, which are the ones that transmit heartworm disease. Where there is spearmint, there are fewer mosquitoes. It grows like a weed in our gardens, and we never pull it out precisely for that reason. The sixth is lemongrass. It contains citral. Citral mimics the scent of insect alarm pheromones. It's as if the mosquito smelled the fear of other mosquitoes. It feels there is danger in the area, that other insects have died there, and it moves away. These 6 herbs, mixed in equal parts, form a robust barrier. But it is not infallible. The hungriest mosquitoes can break through it. That's where the 7th comes in. But we are not there yet. To prepare the base, you take a small pot and bring a cup of water to a boil, about 250 milliliters. When the water is boiling vigorously, remove it from the heat. Turn it off and throw in the 3 tablespoons of the 6 herb mix. Cover the pot. And here comes the secret. Do not leave it for just 10 minutes. That is another mistake. For the essential oils to transfer to the water correctly, you need a minimum rest of 4 hours. If you can, leave it overnight. The slow extraction is what gives the real potency. The next day, strain the liquid with cheesecloth. And here is the ultimate fixation trick. Add a tablespoon of organic apple cider vinegar. The vinegar acts as a natural fixative so that the aromas do not evaporate into the air in 15 minutes, but instead stay stuck to the fur for hours. Next, pour everything into a dark glass jar. The dark glass protects the liquid from ultraviolet light, which breaks down the active compounds. An amber beer bottle works perfectly. Store it at room temperature. It lasts up to 3 weeks at full strength. Now, before going on, I want to make a request. If you truly love your dog, I want you to give this video a like. I want you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I want you to write in the comments from which city or country you are watching us with your furry friend by your side. I want to know how many of you are ready to break away from the status quo. But don't leave after doing that, because in the next 60 seconds, I am going to reveal a mistake that 99% of people make. A mistake that turns this infusion into useless vase water. No, I am not talking about the seventh herb. I am talking about how you apply what you already have. The mistake is spraying directly onto the dog's back, as if it were a commercial product. When you spray directly, you create a concentrated stream that dampens a small area, but the rest of the body is left unprotected. Additionally, the sound of the spray scares many dogs, and the sudden scent in their nose causes them stress. Dogs live through their sense of smell. Saturating their nose all at once is like someone flashing a strobe light in our faces. The correct way is much simpler. Pour a little liquid into the palm of your hand. Rub your hands together to spread it. Then, gently stroke your dog from the base of the neck, moving down the back, to the base of the tail. Run your hands down the sides without rubbing too hard. This way, the coat gets evenly coated in a thin and light layer. You don't saturate any area, you don't scare the dog, and mosquitoes won't find a gap to slip through. Never apply this to the dog's face, eyes, nose, or mouth. Those areas are mucous membranes, and herbs, even natural ones, can irritate. If you want to protect the head, wet your fingers and wipe them gently behind the ears, without touching the inner ear canal. And for the snout, don't even think about it. Dogs lick their snout constantly, and the bitter taste of the herbs can make them vomit out of disgust. If your dog is a puppy under 10 weeks old, dilute the liquid by half with clean water. Puppy skin is more delicate, and their metabolic system is not yet fully developed. With the dilution, you still have an effective barrier, but a much gentler one. And the frequency of application is another critical point. Mosquitoes attack at dusk and dawn. You don't need to keep your dog coated all day long. Apply this infusion half an hour before it goes out to play or for its evening walk. If your dog gets wet in the rain or if it steps into a puddle, the layer breaks down and you have to reapply. On a dry day, with a single application at sunset, you have more than enough. I have seen herding dogs work 5 hours straight with a single pass, and when they returned, they didn't have a single bite. Now, let's talk about you because you suffer from mosquitoes too. This same infusion works on humans. I put it on my hands and rub it on my neck, wrists, and ankles before milking at nightfall. The mosquitoes stay circling a meter away, not daring to touch my skin. But the million-dollar question remains unanswered. What is the seventh herb? The time has come. The seventh herb is catnip, that plant that drives cats crazy. It contains a compound called nepetalactone. I have read studies from external universities confirming that nepetalactone acts on the nervous system of mosquitoes in a way that DEET only dreams of. DEET blocks only a single olfactory receptor. But nepetalactone not only blocks that receptor, it also activates the pain and irritation receptor in the insects. It's as if you didn't just plug the mosquito's nose, but also drove a nail into its brain. They discovered it is 10 times more effective than DEET at the same concentration. 10 times. That research is public, but pharmaceutical companies have done everything possible to bury it. Why don't they use it in their products? Because nepetalactone cannot be patented. It is a substance that exists freely in nature. Anyone can grow catnip and extract it. There is no way for a multinational corporation to have a monopoly. And if there is no monopoly, there are no billions in profits. That is why they invest in smear campaigns. That is why they make people believe that natural repellents don't work. To add the seventh herb to your recipe, you only need an additional tablespoon of dried catnip. Mix it with the other 6 before pouring the boiling water. Do not add it afterward, because it needs the same extraction process. 1 tablespoon is enough for the mix. Don't overdo it, because if you put too much, the smell can be irritating to the dog. It's not toxic, but too much scent can cause the dog to sneeze or rub its nose against the ground. A sincere warning. Not all dogs respond the same way. If your dog has extremely sensitive skin, do a patch test. Take a drop of the infusion and rub it on the inner area of its thigh. Wait 1 hour. If you see redness, swelling, or itching, do not use that recipe on that dog. In the more than 100 years that our community has been using this, I have only known 2 cases of adverse reaction, and they were in dogs that were already born with skin problems. Nature, when used with respect, is generous. I have seen dogs lose their hair in patches because of flea collars. I have seen dogs tremble for hours after taking a monthly pill. Veterinarians tell you it's a minor side effect. Since when is it normal for your best friend to writhe in pain just because you want to protect them from a bite? I am not a veterinarian. I am a farmer. But I know how to read animals. Animals don't lie. When a dog smells this complete mixture, it relaxes. It doesn't hide, it doesn't cry, it doesn't lick itself compulsively. It knows it is safe. I have seen stray dogs come to rub themselves against the catnip bushes in my garden. They know instinctively that this plant protects them. If you follow all these steps to the letter, if you use the 6 base herbs and add the 7th, and if you apply it with your hands, you will protect your dog this summer and all those to come. You are going to save hundreds of dollars a year. The monthly subscriptions cost a fortune. Veterinary visits for poisonings can cost you thousands. 20 years, my most faithful dog, a German shepherd named Tobias, died of heartworms. In my arrogance, I used a commercial repellent for just a single year. Tobias started coughing. When I took him to the vet, it was already too late. His heart was infested. They told me it was inevitable, but I knew that if I had used my grandmother's recipe, with the catnip that grew next to the well, Tobias would still be alive. That guilt haunts me. That is why I break my silence, because I don't want you to feel what I felt. I don't want you to see your dog fade away over something you could have prevented with a handful of herbs in a glass jar. Now you have the full truth. You don't need expensive essential oils that can burn your dog's skin. You don't need alcohol that dries out the coat. You don't need chemical preservatives. Just water, plants, time, and a gentle hand. If you want to take this further, we also use this same infusion to spray the corners of the stables. It keeps away mosquitoes, flies, and even some rodents. It is a shield for the whole home. But that is another story. Imagine your dog running through a meadow at sunset. The sun tints the horizon orange. Around it there are no buzzes, only the sound of its paws hitting the ground. It doesn't scratch, it doesn't stop. It is free. That is what I offer you. It is not magic, it is heritage. It is the wisdom of 100 generations that have lived with the earth, not against it. If this message has touched your heart, share it. There are thousands of owners in your city who are poisoning their dogs without knowing it. You can be the voice that wakes them up. And if you don't want to share it, at least give this recipe a chance. Try it for a week. Apply at sunset, with your hands, using the 7 herbs. After 7 days, come back here and tell me if you notice the difference. I gain nothing from this. I don't have a course to sell. My wealth is my land and my current dog, a border collie named Elias, who sleeps peacefully without buzzes in his dreams. The next time you hear that buzz near your dog, don't run to the pharmacy, run to your kitchen. Boil the water, prepare your 6 herbs, add the 7th, the catnip. Apply with love. Remember that the most powerful solution has always been the simplest one, the one our grandmothers already sang in their prayers. Thank you for listening to an Amish who has broken his silence. If you want to learn how to protect your dog from ticks with another remedy just as ancient, watch this video appearing right here on the side. I'll wait for you there with more secrets that the earth has gifted us. Take care of your dog. He would give his life for you. You just give him herbs. It is the least he deserves.